My name is Penny Wood and I'm a private client solicitor at WBW Solicitors. I'm going to talk to you about what people sometimes find an uncomfortable subject, but this will probably be one of the most important documents you'll ever complete in your lifetime, your will. In its simplest definition, a will is a written legal document which specifies where you wish your money, possessions and property, less any debts, i.e. your estate, to pass to when you die. The recent outbreak of coronavirus has caused a huge spike in people wanting to make wills, and we've noticed a large increase in demand here at WBW Solicitors in recent months. A will will direct how you wish your estate to pass when you die. If you die without a valid will in place, then this can result in what is known as an intestacy, and the law will decide how your estate will pass instead. Therefore, your assets, for instance, may pass to a distant family member on your death who you previously had no intention of providing for. Another major advantage of doing a will is that if you have children who are under 18, you can appoint a guardian in your will to look after them. Although you may have verbally appointed a godparent, for instance, appointing a guardian in your will is legally binding. If both parents of a child die without formally appointing a guardian or guardians, then only the court can appoint one. Another good reason to do a will is that if you're not married to your partner, they will not automatically be entitled to inherit anything from your estate unless you've named them specifically in your will. This includes even if you've lived together and have children. There is no such definition of a common law marriage in England and Wales. Therefore, if your partner is not named in your will and you did wish for them to inherit from your estate, if an agreement could not be reached with the other beneficiaries, then they may need to start legal proceedings and potentially go to court. Whereas if you've named them in your will at the outset, then hopefully the potential expense, time and frustration of additional legal proceedings and or court proceedings can be avoided. There can also be inheritance tax savings in doing a will, which is certainly another important consideration. Finally, I've also found from my experience as a private client solicitor that in this day and age there are many families who are blended. Often people remarry and will have children from a second and sometimes a third marriage or relationship. It is possible to set up a trust in your will which can provide for your spouse but also offer your children some protection in the event of your death and if your spouse were to remarry, for instance. These examples are not intended to be an exhaustive list, but they can be important points to consider when making a will. At its most basic level, a will needs to be in writing and correctly drafted, signed by the person known as the testator or at their direction in their presence. The testator must have intended their signature to give effect to the will, i.e. they want to make a will, and the will must be witnessed by 2 appropriate witnesses. Due to the current outbreak of coronavirus, the government has made temporary changes to the execution of wills as a last resort. However, we still always recommend that the above steps are carried out. If these measures are not correctly followed, then, as previously mentioned earlier, this can result in an intestacy and your estate not passing as you would wish. This can be very time-consuming and costly if possible to correct. This is why we always recommend that a will is drawn up by a recognised legal professional. Finally, we always recommend that a will is registered on the National Will Register known as Certainty. This is a fantastic online tool which keeps a record of wills on its database. Even if a will has not been registered, it can also search the area where the testator lived. The existence of the will and its location will remain confidential until your death. The register will also not disclose the contents of the will, but it will, however, put whoever is searching the register in contact with the firm who drafted the will or the firm who's now holding the will. This can be incredibly useful if an executor is unable to locate a will or if they are not sure if the will they're holding is the last will of the testator. So please contact myself or any member of our team if you have any questions about this video, and we'll be more than happy to assist with your queries.